recording. Sarah's got hers going.
Recording in progress.
There you go.
Okay, let's call our meeting to order. We would like to start with our opening verse. I'll read it, and yes, I think it's better if one person reads it. So let's start with our opening verse. A healthy social life is found only when in the mirror of each soul the whole community finds its reflection, and when in the whole community the virtue of each one is living. Rudolf Steiner. And for our Steiner study today, we thought we would have some ideas that happened, a debriefing of our Alliance conference that we went to. 5 people were in attendance in person and 5 on virtual conferencing. And so I thought maybe we could start with Carol and her impressions at the Alliance conference.
Yeah. It was wonderful to be in person with everybody and to travel with our office colleagues. I think it was a really great opportunity for us to just bond and get to know each other as we're traveling and spending so much time together throughout the weekend, but also to deepen some of the connections that we've made. So, we went on that tour in October and we saw multiple schools, both part of the Alliance and not. So to reconnect with Credo High School, who will be mentoring us as a sister school because they look very similar to what our program will be. Also, the Jonathan, the director at Santa Fe Charter School, he informed me that he just received a grant for a collaboration between the 4 corner states. So he's going to be reaching out to the schools in Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. I mean, he's the only one in New Mexico. But so we'll be collaborating together on professional development and resources. And so we're just in the very beginning stages of that. We've just kind of talked that that's a goal that we have. And we have those resources available. So that was really great. The sessions are always wonderful. I also was able to connect with our board, the Alliance board members. So Liz was really excited to see us there, and Rainbow Rosenblum has on his calendar where we're working on a date for him to come and collaborate with us. So he can do a parent evening and also kind of talk with the board and see our site and just bring the love and support of the Alliance board. So that's some things that we're working on in my brief impressions. You're muted, Susan.
All right. So I just thought I would share next just a couple of impressions that I had. One was that I want to add more song into my storytelling. I really love the music and the singing and I think it can be very powerful to add pieces of music into your storytelling. The other thing I really enjoyed hearing was someone's comment that in our teaching at the education, we're not teaching anthroposophy, but I like the image that we're kind of swimming in anthroposophy throughout our teaching through in the day. And that's kind of, I like that image of being surrounded in like a water of, and in an image of being surrounded by anthroposophy within our teaching and our modeling and how we react to the students. So those are the impressions that I came away with the most strongly. Then we had Tanya. Do you want to share some of your thoughts about our meeting?
Yeah. I really enjoyed getting closer with those we traveled with. That was just really nice to have conversations with everyone, to laugh together, to be together in that concentrated way. I really enjoyed that time. For me, since I'm so new, it was nice to start getting to know the Waldorf culture as people were sharing their stories and asking their questions and just soaking all that in. And then I really appreciated the restorative justice class that I attended both days. It was really informative, very helpful, gave me some direction to go next.
Who was leading that, Tanya?
The resort.
Ashlyn, I'll give you her name real quick. She's been in Waldorf culture a lot, and now I think she's independent. Let me share. Her name is Ashley Radzat. Radzat.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're muted, Susan.
Susan, you're muted. Susan, we can't hear you. You're still muted.
I couldn't find the unmute button.
Okay.
So then we had Braden, who was also with us, and he's new to anthroposophy and to Waldorf education. And I thought maybe he could share some ideas.
Yeah, my experience from the event was just how, I mean, it was kind of twofold. I really got to engage with people that are a large amount of people and teachers who have been in the sphere of Waldorf and the philosophy for a long time. Everybody, is kind of my people is what I kind of quickly became converted to. They wear colorful clothes and scarves. They're interested in music and interaction. They're interested in people taking care of themselves and understanding about individual needs. And I was very, very impressed at how widespread that conversation is across the community. We had over 200 people there, and we were very well taken care of and considered each other while we were there. And furthermore, I did get to experience some of the classes I experienced of the of like different teaching methods aren't as applicable to me as registrar, or because they're also mostly geared towards K through 8, the ones that I attended. It did give me a good window about what students coming into our school that are coming from Waldorf have already experienced, or the type of things that they will experience, including stories about. I included a class on death and another one about eurythmy, and it was an excellent experience.
All right. I didn't hear the last part of that. It seemed like it was going in and out of my audio, but thank you so much for sharing with us, Braden. We don't have public comments yet, do we, Carl? Oh wait, we want to hear the virtual conferencing also.
And Chalice.
Yeah, I learned great things also.
I don't know who the 5 people.
Is anyone else
Chalice. Oh yes.
only getting like every other word?
Susan's
Yes, that's
bandwidth
what's
seems to
happening.
be having an issue.
Okay.
Dallas, Marta and Carrie, I know, were there on the virtual.
Okay. And Lisa, tell us how it was teaching also. That would be lovely to hear from you. Okay.
Well, maybe Marta and Carrie should say something. I don't know. I had a fun time. I only had an hour, and I decided to do a crayon picture for the younger children and a pastel for Blackboard and older children. And we rushed through it, didn't we, Marta?
It was fun. Yeah, very fun.
There were things that I could say that were anthroposophically or Waldorf-wise larger than just a drawing. So it's an opportunity when anything you're doing in Waldorf, you can say why there's no perspective, for instance, in the early grades, because if you're following the evolution of human development and children following that, then you know that this perspective only comes in the Renaissance, when and that comes in sixth, seventh grade. So, you can sort of add those sort of philosophies into the Waldorf philosophies into any of the art that you're doing. So I had the opportunity to do that, didn't I, Marta?
Yes, that one second grade teacher, that was his first experience. And he acted like he enjoyed himself.
Yeah. And he had his children doing it with him.
Yeah, that was the, what was the story that you did? I can't think of it.
King of Ireland's Son.
King of Ireland's Son. And that was very enjoyable.
I love the King of Ireland's Son. That's so fun. All right. Was there anyone else that I missed that shared with us in the Alliance Conference that wanted to give their impressions? I think that was...
No, everybody joined. Everybody here had an experience. So if you want to hear from everybody, we've got Sarah and Christian and Carrie and Chalice.
Oh, all right. Well, everyone, let's hear from Sarah next. Christian, do you want to share something also?
Just really briefly, as you can hear, there's toddler bedtime happening in the background. But
Me too.
I was only able to attend a few sessions because of toddler bedtime and toddler other things. But I did attend the beginning session on the first day by David. What was his last name? Help me remember, David.
I don't remember, but I've done workshops with him before.
He was great.
David Sewell McCann.
Yeah, he was great. And one of the things
That was so good.
wasn't it so good?
It was so good.
Work with our moods, like our attitudes in storytelling. Like work with not just what we're saying, but the underlying attitude and kind of intention and way being underneath the story and the way that relates to the classroom. And I did that. We went through confident to what was the other one? It was
Presence.
confident, present, and there was another one as well. But
Connection.
yes. And as we cycled through these different states, and he had us like do this and then do this and find a gesture for each one, my nervous system started settling. It's really interesting. Like to where deliberately, kind of consciously willing different states tells your nervous system or your etheric body or whatever that it's what people call pendulation in somatic work. It's where you are able to kind of cycle between your body relaxes because it knows that it isn't stuck. And so I feel like that communicates itself to a classroom as well. If you're able to kind of pivot between moods, then things keep flowing, right? And that's important, energy flow. So that's what I took away from what I attended. I thought it was really cool.
I thought it was therapeutic. It was so therapeutic what you did that if the teacher has a calmness, that the whole class can benefit from that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris, for your contribution. I was there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is there anyone else then that I missed? I would love to hear from everyone, just to be sure. Okay.
I haven't gone.
Okay.
Oh, let me get my camera on here. Sorry, I'm moving around while I listen, so I don't want to make you guys motion sick here. It was good. Everyone's kind of taken my favorite things already, but David's class in the beginning was really good and just talking about, using your emotions. And I love how we put an action to each of the emotions and just like how that helped you like cue up those emotions when you were telling a story. And yeah, just using your emotions in storytelling. But he also talked a lot about the container method and just like containing your time and your stories and everything, and which is really good for kids like mine, just to be like, we're doing this for 20 minutes. This is what we're doing, and in 20 minutes, we're going to go to the next thing or whatever. And so it was a good reminder for me to remember to do that. And thesis class was so great. Thesis, you did such a good job. I wish we had her as a teacher because she even taught me to draw, and I have no drawing skills, but she was so easy to follow. And it was really cool just to like be part of a Waldorf drawing lesson. So it was
Thank
great.
you, Carrie. I also wanted to say about David that, and I thought it was very essential for us to share this, and that is that this thing about a container, that somebody can interrupt you and you can reset the container by just taking a sip of water in the middle of your story. Somebody says something and breaks the mood, or does something that shifts the attention. And I just thought it was so good for a teacher to know that, that you can even just take a deep breath and then continue, or, he explained how to reset the container.
Yeah, I loved that too.
The
And
teacher
just like,
skill.
and how it like helps you kind of regulate yourself as well. So really good. Thanks, Lisa, for remembering that.
Yeah. And
Carol, I honestly did not know that everyone had attended parts of the Alliance Conference. At least that's just so wonderful. Thank you all, board
We
members.
still haven't heard from Chalice.
Carol, I haven't heard from either.
Okay, Chalice.
Okay, I just super loved that the theme of the conference was storytelling, and one of the things that struck me was that the children, and really, this applies to everybody because we all had to go through storytelling in this conference. The children will, if the stories live in the children, then the stories will come back when the children need them to. Anyway, one of the presenters shared a story of a child who in a class, they were getting a story or doing a review or something, and the kid was like, oh, something completely different. The story that we learned last year about, again, something completely different. I get it. And all the other kids in the class were like, oh, we didn't understand that part either. But just that the stories live in us. And so it just was wonderful to hear that and to see all the stories and to hear all the stories.
And I would add that kind of takes the pressure off of us a little bit. I did like that they're kind of pointing out it's the lived experience of the story that lays that foundation, and it can take the pressure off of us of like they have to meet the standard in this month, but to know that it's there, they've got it, and when they need it, that capacity will grow in them. So just a really good reminder of what we do and what we're building in our children. Yes, we have to meet the standards. Yes, we have to do that work, but to know that we are, and to have grace for ourselves and our students in the process.
Can I ask a question? How much storytelling will the teachers and staff be doing in a high school setting?
You do it. You do just as much, even though it looks slightly different. So you still bring content in a story way, and then experiments and observations and those things are also a part of the story. And then the students actually at the high school level take a more active part in the storytelling. So the students become the storytellers, and they're developing their own voices as storytellers and are participating more on that end. So story is just as much embedded and woven through and a part of what we do at the high school, because humans are based in story. That's where we live, is in stories.
Yeah.
And the even though the participation in the story at the high school looks different from the circle time of a first grade class.
The
Right.
story, this, if I may, the
Mhm.
stories, history is done through biography. Science is, there's a biography of a scientist who discovered something. So there are a lot of stories in, story is the book of humanity, and geography is the book of space. It's space and time. So anything that has to do with time is a lot of human stories, is story, and place as well in the geography. So the whole thing of space and time goes up all the way through education, to high school.
I had a teacher in high school that was my very favorite. He told stories of World War II and of the history that we were learning. And I remember thinking, what makes him so great? Everybody loved him as a teacher. And I realize now it's because he took the time to actually tell stories to us during the day. And you just fall in love with that. It's just there's a human connection to the content and to the teacher that is really strong that way.
It's soul nourishment.
Mm-hmm. Carol, do I have everybody now? I don't want to miss anyone.
Oh, I just wanted to add that one of the things that David said too was like that stories feed us. Telling stories and hearing stories, like they feed you. So, and his whole point was like, eat the cracker. Like, if that's the best story you have, eat the cracker. Don't starve yourself. Don't wait till you have a creme brulee to eat. Like, just just take whatever story you can and tell that story.
I love
So I thought
that.
that was cool.
Eat the crackers, simple stories. They're nourishing enough.
Okay, so do we have public comments? I noticed Jeff is there. Carol, is there some other
notified us of public comments for this one. So we can go on to the next section.
Okay, so we have some board business. We have a resignation of Kevin Paulson. He sent a letter of resignation as of January 20th. And we have an introduction of Alicia Milligan, who's applied to be a new board member. She'll fill out the application and can be approved maybe in our February board meeting. Is she here tonight?
We
No?
invited her. I don't know. We had some technology issue getting back and forth with her. So I don't know if she was able to work that out for tonight, but we're still connecting with her, and she's excited to join us. I think she has a 5th grader.
Yeah, she's a parent, isn't she, of one of the students?
And is really excited to help build a strong community for her students to enter.
Great. So we do need to do a vote to approve Kevin's resignation. Do I have someone who could make a motion to approve Kevin Paulson's resignation from the board?
I make a motion to sadly acknowledge his resignation from the board.
Okay. And do I have someone who could second his resignation? Okay, thank you, Carrie. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then the rest of this meeting will have to do with the closed session. Is that right, Carol?
Everybody needs to vote. And no, it's just the closed section is just one section of it. But
Okay.
you had it. The vote has been called and seconded, and now everyone needs to vote.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. All
It's
right,
okay.
everyone. Let's see. Hand up or a little symbol up. Let's see. So I have Thesa. I have Christian. Where's Christian? Yes, and I have Marta, Sarah. I. Okay. All right. So the vote is unanimous for the
Susan, can I ask a question about a, a possibility? You know, I sent you all that thing about Eugene Schwartz, and I wondered if there would be any funds for me to attend that. I have to. Where do I put that?
Carol,
Talk
did you
with
see
me
those
directly,
messages?
Teresa.
Pardon?
Talk with me directly after the meeting.
Okay, all right, that's good. Thank you.
I didn't see that email, but contact me directly and we'll work.
Yes. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else wants to do it either, but
Should we discuss this with the board?
Not at the moment.
Okay. All right, Carol. All right.
Sarah had a question. I think in the closed session, and that is next. It's with the lease agreement. So
Okay, Carol, do your technology magic next.
okay,
so not be able to
we're
do-
moving into closed session for the discussion of the lease agreement that has been sent to the board. Hopefully Brandon Johnson will be joining us soon, and I can get him also added to that session. So if you're a member of the board or someone invited like Jeff and Brandon who have relevant information for our discussion of the lease agreement, then you'll be in the closed session. Everyone else will be moved to a public room. I have also let my office people know that they're not needed the rest of the meeting, and so most of them will probably be bowing out. So I'm going to try to start the breakout rooms.
And so, okay. I see Chalice.
Okay, I'm going to resume recording.
Recording in progress.
Do we have everyone? I only see you, Carol.
You might need to swipe on your screen again. If you swipe to the right or the left, you should be able to see everybody instead of just
There
the
we are.
speaker. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just a phone thing.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Good to see everyone back here. And we have a vote to take on the lease for the building at UCAS. And do I have someone who could make a motion to approve the lease? Thank you, Sarah. And do I have a second to approve the lease of the UCAS building?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Marta. And let's do a full vote on this. So I'm a yay. And then we have, let's see, hands up or Marta, I see your hand up, and Christian and Carrie and Tisa and Sarah. See, Sarah, did you have a vote on the, I'm sorry, I missed your vote. Okay. All right, we have a unanimous vote then to approve the lease for UCAS, and hopefully that will go through in the next week or two.
How do I?
All right. I know that we received the minutes from the previous meeting in the email, and we need to have a vote to approve the minutes. Are there any comments or questions about the minutes before we do a vote on that for our previous minutes? Thank you, Sarah, for sending those ahead of time. That's kind of nice to go through. Okay, can I have someone vote to make a motion to approve the minutes from last? Okay, thank you.
Your hand is still raised from the previous thing.
Okay, Thesa, thank you. And then do I have someone to second the motion to approve the minutes from last month?
Sarah just seconded.
Okay, Sarah did. Okay. And then let's do a full vote on the minutes, approving the minutes from last month. So we'll do another hands up or small. Say I see Christian and Disa and Carrie, Carol,
Nope,
Sarah.
I can't vote. I'm
I
not,
know,
I'm
I
not
know.
voting. Okay.
I just saw it. So Marta and I also, let me put my hand up there. And then Sarah. Okay, this has also been a unanimous vote on the approval of the minutes. Any further discussion on that? Okay. All right, now we have our administrative report from Carol. I'm very excited to hear all the things she's going to share with us. I'll give the time
I'm
to
really
her.
excited to share all the things. I think there was one more thing that came up from the closed session that hopefully I'll remember it when I get there. Okay, so applications. We are now accepting applications for our students to tell us that they want to enroll. So they fill out the application. It's linked on our website. And then after they're approved, after our lottery date, they'll actually enroll. So this is just their application to enroll. Our first lottery date will be March 18th, 2026. And we will accept all applications if our numbers are below 200. Sarah, do you have a question? Not at this point. What is your reason for that? Oh, no, that's great. We're gonna spread it out more this first year, mostly as our office people are getting a handle. Like we're not equipped to run that more frequently at this point. So our first date is March 18th. That gives us plenty of time to get out the word to fresh people so that they feel like they haven't missed anything. Oh, I've already missed the lottery, why apply? Is the other part of that. So if our numbers are under 200 by March 18th, which I anticipate they will be, everybody is accepted in that first lottery run. And they're kind of guaranteed a spot at that point. After March 18th, we do a wait list until May. At the end of May, if we are under 350 students, that next lottery onboards all of those students. If we're more than those numbers, then of course we will do the random lottery pool. And we'll continue that also at the 1st of August, the end of July and the 1st of August. We will, if we're still under those 350 numbers, then that lottery sweep pulls everybody within that section. So there's only a guarantee that the students get in if we stay below those numbers. Carrie, is that a raised hand from a vote or a comment on this? Okay, Jeff, is that, do you have a
Sorry,
comment on the?
I'm
it's okay.
doing terrible at putting my hand down tonight.
Do you have a comment on the lottery?
Yeah, mine really was a raised hand. I was just gonna say, I think you'll find too, just to kind of hopefully maybe quell some nerves there, Sarah, but a lot of people sign up for multiple schools and then see where they get in and then pick their preferred school anyway. So I get what you're saying with missing out on maybe a couple of months, but I think you'll find that it probably won't matter in the end. I just think parents sign up and then, make decisions from there. So I actually think waiting until March, those that do sign up then might even be a more realistic number, which will be nice.
And well, the application part is pretty low stakes. And so as far as once they're once the lottery pulls and their application is accepted, right? So the lottery says you're accepted or not based on the numbers that we have to fill. And then, so once they're accepted, they go fill out the full enrollment. And that's when they send us their transcripts. That's when they're sending us their birth certificate. That's all of those records that we need to actually enroll them. And our system won't be ready before March on our back end for them to do that part. So that's also why the March date.
Are we starting on August 24th?
We're actually we're getting to that. Let me come back to calendar.
Okay.
Because the UCAS building is ready to go, we're able to move that up a little bit. And that brings us more in line with the other school districts that our families will be coming from. So we'll come back to calendar in a bit, but we're looking at pushing that up to the 17th. And giving us a more flexible school year that's more aligned with our local districts. So that's our lottery outlook. We currently have 3 students who have applied, and we have multiple campaigns in progress to reach out. So first one, we're reaching out to everybody that's on our interest list right now, verifying. So, and it's not going to be Scala making those phone calls this time. It will be myself and Chalice who have interfaced with these families at Mount Sunrise and say, hey, we're so glad you're on the interest list. Did you know that our application is open? Is your student a incoming 9th or 10th grader? And can we help you with that application process, answer any questions about the enrollment process? So that's one of the things that we're working on. By the end of next week, by the end of January, all of those families will be contacted. We're also working to connect with the local junior high schools to inform them. We're putting up posters. Our team has developed several flyers that will give them interest and requesting to come and talk to students, and if there's any events that we can talk to families about our high school options. So we're working on those campaigns. We also are looking at community events in the next couple of months that will start getting our word out to expand that outreach. The meeting with Rainbow is also a part of that. So he can come and lead a parent night discussion on Waldorf High School education and anthroposophy. He also wants to connect with our board members.
What date is that?
To give us supports. We're trying to finalize that sometime between March and May in the next couple of weeks so that he can plan his travel. So we shared contact information and he's going to look at his calendar. I let him know when our board meetings are and when some of our teacher training workshops are going to be happening so that he can plan around that. He'll probably come for a long weekend. Any other questions about that? Okay. So the other part, so that's enrollment and parent events and things to gather our community. As soon as we get this lease agreement signed, there's also provisions in it for us to take over some of the empty offices that they're not using so that we have people in the building, people can come to our future site. They're going to let us put up signage at their building that says this is the future home. We'll be working on redoing the signage once we take over the building so that the building no longer says UCAS, but it'll say Mountain Centers. I mean, not Mountain Centers. Why did that come out? It'll be Azure Fields Charter High School. So that's kind of what we're working on there. The next thing is preparing to hire all of the positions. So we'll be starting with our 15 full-time faculty teachers, starting with our core teaching staff, 2 English teachers, math teachers, science teachers, history teachers for these first cohorts. We've been working with Frontline Education to set up the hiring and employee management system. And we're really close to being ready to start posting those job positions. That Frontline system helps us make sure that the application process is consistent through all positions, that the interview process is consistent through all positions, and it also houses all of their onboarding documents. We'll be able to insert all of the state required trainings that they have to do every year, and we'll be able to see that they've checked them off. So it'll be really great on our end to be able to manage our employees and staff. And so we're getting those things ready. the first positions, like I said, that we're going to hire are the core teaching staff with 15 full-time teachers, 8 of the core, and then whatever is left for the 7 or whatever that is for the elective courses. And then that is going on in tandem with our student enrollment so that we'll be able to see how many special education students do we need, how many students are coming in with IEPs, how many student aides, how many office staff, and things like that. Any questions on hiring positions?
And just say the word core. What are the core? Science, math?
Language arts, math, science, and history. And
History.
the science and history courses are our main lesson style. And then the language arts and math are 50 minutes every day for support.
And should we call it literature?
So the state requirement for graduation is actually language arts, which includes reading and writing and all of that, which obviously you would do writing in a literature course, but literature courses specifically will be a part of the electives that the students can take.
Okay.
And will also be folded into.
Will there be arts? Those would be the electives.
So arts and the career and technical education, so like the wood shop and the machine shop, those are some of our electives. So some of those classes, we have space in the schedule for those classes to take place. The specific courses that we are offering will be finalized as we get people hired to know what they are able to offer to our students. So,
and there could be those things could be done in blocks. Where visiting people can come in.
Yeah, we've got multiple options for that, some of that. Even if we had someone visiting to do a workshop, we would still have to have a teacher over that would bring in the guest person. But yes, that's also one of the options that we're looking at. Yeah. I'll get into terms when I talk about calendar. So our Dean of Students, Tanya, she celebrate her and give her all the love. She has completed the first draft of all of our school policies. For a little bit of a picture of what that is, there's over 50 of them. So celebrate her. In the past couple of weeks, she's done a lot of really excellent work in drafting all of the school policies that we're required to have. So in the next couple of weeks, now that we have a first draft, our admin team is going to sit down and review and revise the wonderful work that she has put together so that we can revise them and polish them up and make sure they really are aligned with our mission and vision, that they're aligned with our charter, and meet all of the state requirements that we have to have. So our goal is to send out those policies to, like I said, there's a lot of them, so be prepared. But at least a week before our February board meeting, we will be sending out a copy of those policies for the board to peruse and review, so that you can be ready to approve our policies in the February board meeting. And then after those policies are approved, we will work in putting them together in our faculty handbooks, our student and parent handbooks, and posting those on our website. So wonderful work that our admin team and office staff have been working on. There are some other additional documentations that we will have for your approval in February. So the revised 26-27 school calendar will also send a copy of the other district schools' calendars for you to compare that to. And so we'll send that out for you guys to make comments on. We'll probably post it on our website with an opportunity for our parents to give us feedback on this calendar. And then in our February board meeting, get ready, that one might be kind of long because we've got a lot of things to approve, but getting that officially approved and ready to go. And so we'll be going over the details of that. I can go ahead and send that one out this week for everybody to start looking at that draft and start those comparisons and answer any questions that you have on the things that are posted there. We also have a draft of salary schedules for certified teaching staff. I think the board has already seen that one. We also put together a salary schedule for hourly classified support staff based on the number of hours they're contributing to our school, as well as their experience level and the type of job that they're doing, requiring different levels of our monthly Waldorf training meetings and different incentives for them to join and participate in that. So those salary schedules will also be, they've been looked over by our finance team with Red Apple. They have verified that they do fit our budget constraints and are both and also competitive to be a fair salary to our teachers. So we have teaching staff, classified support staff that are hourly, as well as an administrative salary schedule for you guys to look at. We will also be drafting a teacher contract that just the core of what every teacher contract will look like, and it'll have blanks for the teacher, it'll have blanks for the subject that they're teaching, it'll have blanks for the amount of their salary based on the salary schedule, but it'll include the core constraints of their job and requirements that are the same for all teachers. So we'll also have that draft ready for you so that we are ready when we start hiring our teachers. I want to be able to hand them the salary schedule so they have full transparency. This is what I'm going to be making based on the salary schedule. This is what my contract is going to look like and the things I'll be required to do. I have also reached out to Able and Strong for retirement benefits so that, and I have a meeting with them later this week, so that we will be able to say, this is what we're looking at for retirement benefits, so that our teachers, when they interview them, have a clear picture of their compensation and the way that we are holding them and taking care of them and valuing them as a human being joining our initiative. So that's a lot for our February meeting. Get ready for lots of approving of documents next month in February, but that's what we're looking at and coming there.
Carol, you are amazing.
Yes.
I also have an amazing team.
Carol,
Yes.
have you by any chance talked to Christelle about retirement funds? She was really proud of the fund they had at
I'm talking to the same people.
the
that-
same people. Okay, that's great. Okay.
Yes. And I have a similar vision for compensation for our people. So,
Carol?
Great.
yes.
I might add, it was just a year ago at this time that you were talking about starting a high school when we were down there in Sacramento. How quickly
years ago.
things have rolled along.
I know, right? Yeah, that was 2 years ago. Since last year, the fires canceled the conference, but yeah, it's been an amazing process, and we should all take a moment to celebrate. Like, wow, look at all of the things that we've been able to do, and I am very humbled to be a part of this process as I had so much support. So I think the last thing that I have tonight for the admin report is the curriculum development and teacher supports update. So on our collaboration tour, we gathered a lot of suggestions and resources, and it's really important that the teachers have an input in the things that they're bringing to the children. If we're imposing a lot of things on them that aren't living in them, it's a lot harder to bring it authentically to the children. So we have a lot of suggestions. We have a lot of resources available, we will be working with and guiding the teachers, and I'll talk a little bit about the supports that we have available for them to make sure it's all aligned. We have also been able to acquire some curriculum resources for secondary math 1, 2, and 3. So that is a very specific Utah math curriculum for the high schools that all of the schools follow. It is published by the Mathematics Vision Project and includes teacher and student resource books for our teachers. And the secondary math 1, 2, and 3 really does allow and aligns with our vision in Waldorf of how to bring math integrated and in progressively more complicated stages to the children. So instead of breaking out geometry and calculus and all of those things, algebra, into separate things, secondary math integrates them at an introductory level with level 1, an immediate level with level 2, and the advanced level preparation for college math in level 3. So our goal is to give those resources to our teachers, as well as training in Waldorf math education for the math teachers.
Can I say something that Jamie York, who has the Jamie York Math Academy here in Paonia,
Yes,
would be a good person to give an overview in the beginning?
that's our plan for our math teachers, is to send them to him. Yep, that's the PD plan for our math teachers. And so some of the resources for our teachers, let's see. We have drafted templates for the teacher lesson plans that help them visualize what their lessons will look like from a Waldorf perspective. So these templates will be kind of some training wheels, and we have multiple options that will help the teachers find something that meets their needs in presenting to the teachers. We're also working on a grading policy that we will be bringing the teachers into and having open discussions with them. And that policy will include we'll use the same marks that the state assessments use, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 being above grade level, 3 being meeting grade level, for the teachers to use in their courses. But we also have a lot of resources for them and training for them on giving quality feedback and how to put things in the gradebook that we have to use in a way that clearly communicates to the families what's going on with their student and their progress. So we have a lot of resources for our teachers to have clear practices around grading. Chalice also put together wonderful Mood of the Grades guide for our teachers that goes into the developmental stage of each grade level and how to approach the students of those grade levels in a developmentally appropriate way, considering our Waldorf principles. So we have a lot of resources being put together for our teachers, as well as these training things that we are putting together so that our teachers feel fully supported doing this slightly uncomfortable and not mainstream thing as we bring them in. And having these set up before we hire our teachers will allow us to say, we're asking you to do some big and hard things, but here's all the resources that we have. Are you on board? Do you want to try this experiment with us? So we're really excited about that. Chalice has also drafted the textbook for her Technology is a Tool for Life course, and she's going through and finalizing the edits on that text. She's pulled from philosophers and I don't even know who all, but a ton of people throughout history that talk about the purpose of technology, not just our electronic media technology, but just advancements in society and how do we bring those as tools for the students to engage. So it's a 2-part class. There's that engagement in the literature, and then there's the practical skills for digital literacy, and the kids will be able to meet the state certifications there. So as far as curriculum is concerned, the board, unless we're adopting a pre-prepared curriculum to be followed across all courses, the board doesn't need to approve every little curriculum resource. You don't need to approve every literature course, as long as we have a policy that you've already approved, that we're using Waldorf pedagogy, that we're using developmentally appropriate things. So as long as we're following those guidelines, and the board is welcome to come in and look at any of those things at any time. As I understand it, the board doesn't have to approve every little thing that we're going to give to our teachers as a resource. So when Chalice has the Technology as a Tool for Life course completed in May, that's our deadline for approving curriculum. And so since that is a specific curriculum that we are adopting for our school, the board will get to review and approve that curriculum for that course. So that
it's important to have teachers be free to teach.
Yeah, and that's our goal. So we're working on robust resources for them that are all aligned and making sure that they feel ready. And so that's the curriculum development and teacher supports. Are there any questions or comments on that?
Yeah, I'd like you to consider mentoring for the teachers through the year if possible.
Yeah. Yes, that's a part of my job is working with that, as well as our Dean of Pedagogy, mentoring them in that. That's what our monthly inner work workshops are doing. So I didn't have this on my agenda, but let me talk about those also. We're piloting our first one this Saturday, so I'll send the invitation to the board. Board members are welcome to come to that training, recognizing that if we have a quorum in attendance, we have to post it. So let me know if you're planning on coming, and we just post that it's not a official meeting like this, but if we have more than a quorum, we do have to post that the board is participating in this event. So this one is a pilot that will. We've got some Waldorf friends that we know are strong in the Waldorf program, as well as some people that are possibly thinking about applying but aren't quite sure and want to know more about it, as well as some professionals in the teaching community to come and give their feedback as a teacher of experience learning about Waldorf for the first time. So this first one really is a pilot that will be we'll have a pre-survey and a post-survey and then tweak it. These are planned for, I think it's the 21st of February, and then the 2nd and 4th Saturdays of every month, March, April, and May. For our new teachers that we hire, they need to come to these workshops. Brief overview of that agenda. We'll have a welcome, we'll sing a song, we'll have a verse, we'll do some basic movement and a little welcome and agenda. Christian in this first one will be leading the discussion on the 7 core Waldorf principles of the Alliance for Public Waldorf Education that we have to be following. He will probably not be able to be at every single one throughout the spring, and the rest of our team will pick those up. But he'll lay a great foundation for us to follow in those discussions. Susan will also be presenting just what why the chalkboard is important and how to use it in our lessons, and is planning a great little chalkboard tutorial. So I have the poster board and all of the chalks for that workshop. So that's what those workshops are going to look like. Then the plan in the fall is that every month, our August one won't be on a Saturday. It'll be a part of our teacher training at the beginning of the school year. And but then throughout the rest of the school year, we will purposely plan on focusing on each one of those 7 Waldorf principles throughout the school year so that our teachers have a clear vision of what each of those principles mean. And so, thank you, Lisa. Anyway, so that's where we're going with that professional development. I am being very intentional that this workshop is a part of the teacher hiring process. So they will send in their application, we will call them in for an interview, and even if we love the candidate, if they can't or won't show up to one of these workshops, or if they are at the end of the workshop, they're like, this is not fit, I'm not interested in doing this kind of thing, just so that they know with full transparency what type of training they'll be getting and what the requirements will be for their teaching throughout that. So any questions on that professional development plan? We'll go into more details in the future as the board needs to approve some of those things.
I'd love to be there for the initial Waldorf introduction, if possible. I'll drive over.
You totally should, and we will find a place for you to stay out here too. I've got room in my house, and I think other people might have availability for that too. So we'll find a place for you to stay if you'd love to do that. Yeah, so this first one is this Saturday. It'll be here at our Orem office in the basement. They have a great space in the basement that we're able to rent for that. We'll have kind of breakfast brunch table available with it. The check-in starts at 8:30 and we wrap up around noon. So that's, and I'll send an invitation that has all of those details right after this meeting. And that is all that I have for the admin report. Are there any other questions or concerns to me as the director and our progress on any of these topics or anything else you feel like I should have addressed?
Ooh.
That's a lot. We're doing a lot. We're cruising.
No, and Carol, you answered a lot of my questions about curriculum too. I assumed that we were choosing all the literature for each grade and other things like that. So I'm glad that the teachers can choose. That's one of those things I want freedom for the teachers to choose those things.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. You're welcome to continue on.
All right. So board committee reports. Do we still have a report by Marta for the finance committee, or is that something you're doing tonight, Carol?
I think I've got that one this time too. We've been trying to find the right time to meet, but just kind of a basic update. We're still waiting on the final approval for the revolving loan. We expect that in March, just based on the process that the state has to go through for that. And otherwise, we're on budget. Things are looking good. We also, as you were all in that meeting, we are preparing for that CSP grant again this year. And I feel really confident that we'll have a strong application, but it is a little bit more competitive with more schools applying. So we're going to do our best and we will accept the bounty that the Lord gives us. Marta?
Do we know how many new schools there are applying this time?
From the meeting tonight, I feel like the number is around 3 to 5.
Five schools were passed in January.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I'm not sure how many of those. There were several that were not on the call tonight that I don't know if they're actually going to apply.
All high schools?
No.
Oh.
Just new schools. So there were 5 new schools that were approved in January that are eligible to apply for the CSP grant. And then us from last year that are opening in the fall. And I
many high schools?
is Virtual Horizons eligible to apply for it this year? I don't remember. But I think there's about 5 schools that we are in direct competition with as brand new schools applying for this grant.
And how many of them are high schools? How many high schools are applying? How many high schools do they have in Provo? Charter high schools.
Charter high schools in Provo. So there's several well-established ones that we're not in competition with for this grant. I think there was one, and I don't know if they were a high school, but there was one other school that's looking at the Provo area as far as a new school that was just recently approved. So I don't know.
Is the only Waldorf High? Because there's another one too, isn't there?
The other one was approved for K-8. So they won't have
Yeah,
that.
they wanted to go to K-12, but they were only approved for K-8. So
Oh, at Christelle's?
Yes. Once they get established, if they want to apply for an extension, that is always an option for all of the charters, but they would have to fulfill their initial charter first. Sarah? No, that's just establishing our program. Right. So once we get fully established in our 3rd year and we are running 9, 10, 11, 12th grade and graduating students, we will then be, if we are in good standing and meeting all the requirements of our charter, we would be eligible to apply for an extension. And I'm already anticipating the community has already voiced a need for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So kind of the plan is that in year 4 of our operation, we go ahead and start the process for applying for an extension. If we get the CSP grant this go around, we will not be eligible to apply for the extension of the middle school program. If we don't get it this round, we would still be able to apply to expand a middle school. So we could potentially get the $2 million at that time as an extension school. So those are some things to consider kind of going forward as far as that CSP grant is concerned. So whether or not we get the CSP grant this go around, I'm still not terribly concerned. I feel like we're still in really good standing.
Okay, thank you so much, Carol, for all of that information. And let's do our closing verse. I'll read
Hold
it.
on, really quick. I noticed that Brandon was finally able to join us. Brandon, I'm sorry if you tried to join when we were in closed session. I don't think that anybody had any questions about the lease agreement, and we did vote to approve the lease. There was one comment about looking at instead of starting on July 1st, our regular funding for the school year doesn't come in until the 31st. And so making sure that our first lease payment, either that we start the lease on August 1st or that we negotiate that lease payment after our funding comes in was one of the comments from that. Do you have, we're no longer in closed session, although we don't have anybody from the public here, but it is being recorded. So that's where we're at. If you have anything that you wanted to add.
No, although other than I did see Jeff emailed that comment as well, and I saw that, and I think that's a good suggestion, and one that, I mean, I can't speak for UCAS, but if you don't have the money, then it doesn't do them any good to have you making a lease payment. So I'm guessing that should be okay, so we can make that change to the lease agreement so that it matches up with your funding source. So that was a good suggestion from Jeff.
Okay. So I guess if anybody did have something that you wanted clarification with Brandon, who is the legal counsel helping us with this lease agreement, just wanted to make sure that we had that opportunity to connect with him since he joined. So,
Brandon, this is Jeff again, real quick.
Yeah.
My computer's going to die, so I'll be quick. But I don't know how greedy we can get, but if the lease can start August 1st, that'd be great. I would love to see, though, if the school could maybe try to start to move in like July 15th. I've seen it happen August 1st and later a bunch of times, but I always just feel horrible. But you know, I don't know what kind of flexibility they have, but that would be kind of our dream case scenario that I would recommend is maybe a move-in date of July 15 with a lease of August 1. But you know, I think whatever they're willing to do, Carolyn, it'd probably be more your decision, but financially speaking, I think an August 1 would be ideal, even if that meant we can't move in until August 1, but I don't want to step on your toes either. So I'll come help with the furniture though.
yeah.
I think it's definitely worth putting it in there as July, and I don't remember what we have now, but if we need to change it to July 15th, it's certainly worth putting it in there or changing that. And then, you know, the worst thing that can happen is they say, no, you can't move in until you start paying rent. But on the flip side, you know, I think and I haven't had direct contact discussions with them. I know Clint has, but it seems like they're not going out of their way to. Well, I guess they're more willing to help than a traditional kind of landlord, would be. So I unless there's a reason just logistically for them they couldn't make that happen, I would be surprised if they wouldn't be willing to let the school move in starting July 15th. So yeah, I certainly think it's worth putting that in there.
Well, and they've also been very friendly to us using some of their unused spaces in those offices and using their space for those meetings. So it seems like they are friendly to that kind of conversation to help us get into the building. So
yeah. So yeah, good to both good suggestions, Jeff. I'll make those changes to the lease and then we can go from there and see what their response is.
Okay. Thank you, Brandon, for joining us and popping in here at the last minute. So I think that's it, Susan, if nobody else has any questions or comments.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And our closing verse, I'll read quickly. Truth, beauty, and goodness explained. This is a little bit. To be true is to be rightly united with our spiritual past. To sense beauty means that in the physical world, we do not disown our connection with the spirit. And to be good is to build a living seed for a spiritual world in the future. Do I have someone who could vote to adjourn our meeting tonight? Okay, thank you, Sarah. And someone who could second that vote? To adjourn our meeting? Thank you, Lisa. And let's do a vote quickly on the adjourning of the meeting. Thank you, Lisa, Sarah. Okay. And I'm an okay for that.
That's an easy one to get everybody's
Marta,
approval.
Christian, Marta. Carrie, thank you. Is that all? I think I've got everyone now. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming tonight. And blessings on all our work and your work that you're doing for our school. Thank you so much tonight for coming, and I'll see you later.
And I'm going to text right now the picture of the invitation to the board so that you guys are aware of the training this Saturday if you're able to make it. So
great. I love you all. I'm